So they told us that wealth was locked behind boardroom doors that we would never enter. That freedom was preserved for the privileged, the connected, and the already rich. But let me tell you something, that was a lie. See, we are the generation that's rewriting the rule book. See, we don't need $1 million fund. We don't need a landlord's permission. But what we do need is a blueprint, y'all. That's exactly what I'm about to lay down. This is Airbnb Pro Tips, and I am your host, Earl McCray. Every week, we're breaking down real game from real entrepreneurs on how to launch, automate, and scale that Airbnb business. We're giving you the strategies, the money moves, and the mindset shifts that will separate those from the dreams from those who are executing on those dreams. Here, we celebrate the wins, both big and small. Here, we talk to real entrepreneurs, the one that took action and changed their lives. Here, we're giving you the blueprint so that you can stop watching and start building. So, if you're ready to tap into your God-given ability to turn knowledge into passive income, to create a system that works for you instead of you working for it, hey, welcome home. This is where transformation begins. This is where faith meets execution. This is where you level up your Airbnb game. This is Airbnb Pro Tips. All right, Pro Tips. All right, what episode are we on? I'm not sure, but live and direct. Got my boy Cornell on board. Mic check, Cornell.
Check.
Okay, mic check. All right, well, cool. All right, so we got something special today. The special is when to whole house versus when to individual room. That is the question that we're going to be answering. When the whole house and when to Airbnb. So Cornell, for our peeps, give our audience a little bit of a backstory of the dilemma that you and I are going to be talking about today.
So we're going to be getting right into, just like you were saying, the versus pretty much the whole house versus rooms. How is the whole house model effective? How is it good to use during seasonality seasons? We're going to be getting into that. We're going to be getting into how exactly look with sharing the screen, how you can actually look like you can make a good amount more with the whole house different than rooms, and when to use it and during the seasonality and time. So we're gonna get right into that topic right now and touch bases on more things around this whole house. When I say the entire house, I mean all the rooms, not just one room, the entire house as a whole. So it's different different than one person coming as a group of people. So it's a little different. So we're going to get right into that.
Got you. So I have a subject property I have in mind. I was researching for another person. Now I could use this subject property, or I could use a subject property down your way. Either way is good for me. Tell me kind of what you're thinking about.
I'm liking this
You like
property
this?
right here.
All right.
It's definitely good, but yeah, this is a 4-bedroom. But I was looking at, if you could look at something around my way, it'd be good too, because it's actually a 6-bedroom if it's still available. Since you're right here on Zillow in the search bar, we can go to search it now.
Let's do that. What's the if you can just type in the address and put it in the chat for me, and then I in turn will grab it from the chat and throw it into Zillow. And we'll move like that. Okay. We'll move just that way. Right. Okay. Meanwhile, as I wait to get that in the chat, we just came off of a full house booking at one of our places. So here's to give you the timeline. So I shut down all my room rentals at the end of April. 2 days later, April, I said end of April, I meant end of March. 2 days later, April 2nd, I got a whole house booking for 7 days. And then that same house, somebody, my cleaner was there yesterday, somebody will be back in the house tomorrow. So talking about, keeping the calendar full.
Wow. Those
And
are great.
just, yeah, we'll show this up a little bit. But my average daily rate for that house is 201. That's not a lot of money because of my area. There's areas that you can get much better average night. But when you compare that to my nightly rate was only $40.
Oh, wow.
Nightly rate was $40. It's 5 rooms in this house. 4 times 5 is $200. But I wasn't looking at 100% occupancy.
Oh, you wasn't.
No. Okay. Okay. I'm still looking for that address in the chat.
Okay, look like I don't have the address. We might have to use your subject property. It looks like.
You want to just use my subject property?
Yeah, it looks like we can use your subject property.
Okay.
If I can find it later, I still can put it in the chat though.
Okay. All right. Let me go ahead and do that, just so that we can give the people what they want. Give them what they want. Okay. All right. So I'm doing two things, right? I got Zillow open. So my subject property is a place with 4 bedrooms. And so I'm interested in, what the 4 bedrooms in this particular area code would look like if I'm looking for a room rental. And then once I got that number kind of nailed down, I can now look at the whole house. So I'm gonna take that address and I'm gonna go to Airbnb. Okay. So I got 2 windows open. I got Zillow and I got Airbnb. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put that address in the where. And then it's gonna prompt me with which days. So I'm gonna go out a month. Okay. I'm not gonna do next week. I'm gonna go out a month because a month, the rates, are typically 3 to 4 weeks out. The rates are not being jacked up or not, they're not lowball. Because sometimes people have, especially if you use Price Lab, the you can have your price be adjusted up or down based on the proximity of the booking. So 4 weeks out is what I'm gonna do. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm gonna do a Thursday through a Sunday. So give me 4 nights. I'm gonna hit save. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm interested, got it. I'm interested in a room rental to begin with. Most room rentals are gonna tap out at 2 guests. And now I am going to put in some other additional filters to make my search. Okay, my filter. Okay. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna do rooms. Oh, okay, 7 rooms. 7 rooms. Okay. So in this particular area, rooms are not a big thing. I'm also gonna do, it's only 7, so I don't know if I'm gonna do any more with the filters. All right, I'm just gonna see what we're working with. Air conditioning would be good. Parking, that'd be good. Instant booking would be good. All right. Nothing else. I need to have, gotta have a TV, gotta have a Wi-Fi. Pool and hot tub, they're nice, but they're not definitely not required. Let me just see what happens here. All right. All right. So here's what I'm looking at. Okay. So I'm looking at 3 nights. All right. At 1352. 1352. So I'm gonna pull up my calculator. And Cornell, let me know if you can see my calculator, or if I have to adjust my share link. Can you see my calculator or no?
No, I just see a square. No,
Okay, so how about now?
oh yeah, I see it now.
Okay, all right, beautiful. All right, so here's what we're doing. All right, I'm doing the 1352. I'm going to multiply that by 80%. The reason I'm going to multiply that by 80% is that I'm going to assume that 20% of that rate is going to go to the cleaner, because I want to be super conservative. All right. So point times 0.80. So I'm looking at 1081, and that's over 3 nights, divided by 3 nights. Okay. All right. So if you're tracking, Cornell, we're talking about this property. I have the potential of generating $360 per night.
Tracking.
360. Okay. All right. We did say that it had 4 rooms. We did say it had 4 rooms. Okay. So 360 times 4. 360 times 4 is 1442. So my average daily rate, if all 4 rooms are booked, is 1442. That's at 100%. What number for our people at home, Cornell? Because we know nothing in life is 100%. What number do we feel more comfortable with? What percentage?
So not 100%. What we feel comfortable? 40%.
Let's do 40%. Shall we? Let's do 40%. So we do 40% of that daily rate. Okay. Point. So we're gonna say 0.60 is what we're gonna take. That's what
60.
Go back. Put that in again. 14. And if I'm confusing you on the numbers, I'll circle back and get you. So we're looking at a 40% occupancy rate. So that means we are going to multiply by 0.4. Sorry, I don't know why I said 60.4. All right, so we're saying that $576.80 is our daily rate. Based on having 4 rooms available and only having those 4 rooms available 40% of the time. Okay, so I want you to write down that $576.80, because now I want to compare and contrast that. What I want to compare and contrast that to is, what would that number be like? Now, in fairness, because I want to do apples to apples, what I should have done is I should have used 30 days as a comparison. So if this is our nightly rate, let me go ahead and multiply that by 30. So I'm comparing apples to apples. So can multiply that by 30. So I have a monthly basis. So that's a $17,304 a month opportunity. That's not bad, is it?
That's not bad. Nope.
That's not bad. Okay. Now, let's ask the question. what if we were looking at a whole house scenario? Okay. So I'm going to make my calculator go away. Oh, I'm going to go back in. And now my filter is going to be on the entire room house. So I see it's 1,000+ homes. Well, all right. That's no bueno for us. That's a lot of competition.
Oh,
But I
share
want
your
to go.
screen though. I can't see your screen.
Ooh, okay. So we're going to go
Got a
back to
calculator in the
screen.
way.
Let me go back to screen sharing. Okay. Share. Boom. Okay. Yeah. All right. Going back to. All right. So we're now going back to the whole house and the filters. You see, we have 1,000+ homes.
Yep.
We're going to filter that down a little bit. So one of the way we're going to filter that down by is we're going to put the bathroom in the bed count. So we had 4 beds based on this Zillow information and 3 baths. 3 baths. All right. So even though we have 4 bedrooms, I always take the bed count one more because I want to encourage my landlord to put another space in the living room in the form of a hideaway couch. You tracking?
Yep. That's what we're saying.
Okay. All right. So just by doing that, see my competition went from over 1,000 to now I slightly have over 100.
That's it.
173. Okay. All right. I'm gonna do something else though. All right. I'm gonna show that. Okay. But I am gonna take my guest count. And I know I can do 2 guests per bed. There's 4 beds, so that's 8. And then I can do another 2 with that hide bed that I was just talking about. Let's go 10.
Dang.
Okay, let's go search. And what I'm really interested in is my competition. Because we can't get booked if we don't get noticed. Okay. So I see we went from 1,000 to slightly over 100. Now we have 260 homes that fit that criteria. And seeing if there's anything else I can do to bring that number down. House. Okay. Anything else I can do to bring that number down? And maybe there is, maybe there isn't. Free parking is cool, but not a necessity. Um, let's just go with it. Show property. Okay, so I'm seeing some really crazy numbers. All right, so I'm seeing 2,673 for 3 nights. So I'm going to use the exact same protocol that I did before. All right, I'm gonna pull up my calculator. That's pretty nice. This actually looks like it has a pool. Most of
And
these look like they have pools, actually.
mm,
Yeah, this is the pool community. All right. So I am going to go back to my calculator. Share calculator. Okay. And so the number I'm seeing for 3 nights is 2,627. All right. 80% of that is going to cleaning. So 20% of that is going to cleaning. So I'm going to take 80% and work with that number. So I'm back down to $2,000. I'm going to divide that by 3 nights. Okay. So that's $700 a night. Okay. So $700 a night. So we were talking about that if we were doing the room bookings at a 40% occupancy, we would be at $17,000. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take that $700. I'm going to multiply that by 30 days, and then I'm going to take 40% of that. And let's see where we go. $700 or $700 per night after the cleaning fee times 30 nights is $21,000. And we're going to take 40% of that. And, oh, I'm sorry, I divide it. So sorry. I'm a math teacher, and I'm like, yeah, those numbers don't look right. Okay. So, oh, wow. I think we're at 700, correct? Because I didn't write it down.
700.
700 times 30, or 21,000 per night, or per month rather. And we're going to take 40% of that. All right. 40% of that. Multiply by 40%. I did the same thing. I put division when I needed to put. Guys, blame it on my heart, not my head. I've just got out of work with these kids. 30. Okay, now we're gonna do another 40%. Okay, that's what I want. That's what I want. All right. So they're saying that based on a 40% occupancy, I would make 8,400 a month. Now that number seems a little off. Seems a bit off. And I can tell you why I think it's a bit off. There's something inherently different from what I should be doing, what I am doing. And here's why I know. Okay. I got some data that I bought, and I'm gonna show it to you right now. But if I run a report and I use this data often, I'm gonna just share out of this and give you I'm really taking the cover off the back of this right now. But I think you'll see the reason. So let me go share my screen. Okay. Now I'm going to use a software that I have been using for a while called B&B Analyzer. So here's the subject property right here. 4 bedrooms, 3 baths. Those are the 10 guests. That all looks familiar, right?
Yeah, that looks familiar. Yeah.
Okay. And I was working this up for a client. And they were telling me that their rent rate was, hold on, their rent rate is, okay, for a 4 bedroom, their rent rate is 5,000 a month. Okay. 5,000 a month. All right. This analyzer is going to pull from AirDNA and a bunch of other platforms, including VRBO, and it's going to tell me the income potential for this place for a given year, and I can break it out over a month. So here we go. Okay. So the average daily rate is 781. I think that's a number we were flirting with, I think.
Around 700.
Okay. All right. And based on this is assuming that we're going to take a 15% um split. I always start with a 30% split and see how close to I get to the landlord getting to a 1.5. Um okay, yeah. Okay, so this is what I'm looking at. So traditional landlording, they would be making 60 grand in a year.
Mhm.
If they did the short term, this is 1.6. I like to always make it a little bit more than 1.5. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to play with this. So I'm not going to do a 30%. I say 27%. Okay. And let's see what that looks like. Okay, that puts us at a 1.53. 1.53. Okay. So that's what the landlord is making. All right. So let me kind of break this down for my folks at home. For my folks at home, I present this to a landlord. They're now making 60,000. If they work with me and my management team, we can make them an extra 31,000 above and beyond what they were already making using traditional landlording methods. Okay. Now to our end, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take, all right, you got a calculator in front of you, Cornell?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Take $131,000. Uh,
Mhm.
let let me get it all. $131,148.
Yep.
All right. And I want you to subtract that from $91,735.
Okay, let's see what I got. So I end up getting 39,313.
Okay. That's our that's our profit as a management group.
Yeah,
So
that's a year.
so if you had if you could profit 30 G's from one property, how many properties would you need to do to get to 100K?
What would you need? About a little bit under three. Like
Three
three,
properties.
three, three. Well, three.
Yep.
It'd be roughly over, north over 100K.
Okay. Yep. Yep. So here's a sweet part, and this is the part that I want to emphasize on. This person, we're saying that they have um, a monthly rent of $5,000. Monthly rent of $5,000. That's not that's not a small nut, especially for 4 bedrooms. But according to, and this is what excites me about whole house, and I'm going to go back to the question that we have to answer. All right. So if they were doing 2,627 for 3 nights, and that's not the lowest number, and it's not the highest numbers. I should try to get something kind of in the middle. If I took, get my calculator again. Calculator. All right. If I took that, clear that out, 2,627, and divide that by 3. Okay. What I'm really wanting to do now, I'm asking myself this question. As $876. All right. The rent is 5K. So I'm going to say 5K, and I want to divide that into the nightly rate. $865, roughly. Okay. So here's this number, and this is the number that should be significant. After 5 nights, 5.7, after 6 nights, the landlord we have generated enough money for the landlord's mortgage to be already done. Anything after the 6th night, we're in profit. We're in profit.
Shit.
So we've been talking about 40% occupancy. I'm literally saying that we could be, based on this number, this is 10 nights is a third.
I see, yeah. Because
So we're actually in a profit scenario with less than a third of the potential occupancy being addressed. That muy bueno. That's a good thing. So how does that compare with a whole house or rooms? So at the time we said that a room was going to be about $360. Okay. So I'm gonna go back, clear this, put 5,000 in, divided by 360. Okay. So 14 nights. So after the 14th night, we would actually be in a place where we're in a profit mode.
Right.
So again, what are we saying? We're saying that if we're dealing with rooms, it's going to take us half of the month in order for us to make profit. If we're dealing with a whole house, it's going to take us roughly, what did I say? 5 days, 6 days?
6 days.
6 days.
So I see the difference right there.
So the difference
8
is
days.
really when you have a high season is only a really small part of the calendar when you look at the entire year. So when you have a high season, you want to get the highest possible daily rates as physically possible before the rates go away.
Yeah.
And so let me look at this person's calendar, because I'm assuming that this person is doing good because they got a 4.9 rating. But let's look at their calendars. Let's see how far they're booked out.
Yeah, you just scroll down.
Yeah, let me look at some other
Yeah.
nights.
Yeah, you really just scroll all the way down. You can see that calendar too.
All right. Okay. So can you see my calendar now?
Yeah, yeah.
So we're in May. So it looks like they are booked they're booked 1, 2, 3, 3
But
days.
you want to look at April? We're April.
I'm sorry. Thank you. So in April, they were booked 1, 2, 3. Well, I'm not sure. They're booked 1, 2, 3, 3 days in April. So that was that last weekend. And then in May, it looks like they're booked 1, 2, 3, 4 days. So that's 2 more weekends. In June, looks like they booked every other weekend. And July, they haven't really booked up yet. So big picture, for the 2 months that we're analyzing, 2 of the 4 weekends are already accounted for, which means that they are actually just in 3 nights. After 3 nights, after 6 nights is what I'm saying. Those 3 weekends, everything is above and beyond their mortgage.
That mortgage, yep. Yeah.
Their
I
mortgage.
see.
So you just simply can't get that volume with the you can't get that volume with the rooms. So what am I saying? I'm saying that the rooms are steady money. Because I mean, I've had somebody in a room for 6 months. And you've been up there too, right? Cornell, what's your longest room booking?
Yeah, it's about mine's was about like 5 months.
Yeah.
About, matter of fact, longer than 6 months. Mine was like they was going on like 7, 8 months
Yeah,
in a row. So I see what you're saying. If you can get that high the rate for the whole house, you can you can already pay your landlord's mortgage within those 6 nights, as you see. You might have to
absolutely.
adjust them with price labs, like you're saying, because it might not be $300 for each day. It might be 300, then 280, then 250, then 320. But within
Absolutely.
that range, I guess what, 6 or 7 nights, anything after that, you could be right in a profits realm. You could be right in that area after that. So you basically can make your what you're saying your profit quicker with that.
Correct.
Um,
Right.
I was just thinking of a question too. I see other places you got to look at your competition in order to charge that high because some people may be charging high because they got a pool, but if you don't have a pool table or some of these amenities, you might got to
Hmm.
charge a little lower. So it might take you think. Would you think it'll take you longer than 7 nights to get in
Well,
that
well, I
get in
mean,
that
and
overflow?
well, part of it, you point out a good thing. Part of it is you mentioned that amenity of a pool is you want people to find you. Like, so I didn't even think about it. So if I'm looking for that same scenario and I add a pool and a hot tub, um, well, everybody has a pool and a hot tub here. I doubt there'd
Yeah.
be less competition. But this
So
is the
it's
hot
like,
tub and pool space. So part of it is if you can add an amenity here and an amenity there that reduces the number of homes that you're competing against. You don't necessarily have to lower your rate in order to be found.
yeah,
Because again, people are not always shopping for rate. Sometimes they're shopping for convenience.
yeah,
So,
yeah, that's true too.
so if they can find your place, um, in the first, page or two, then you have a much better shot than just simply being the lowest cost, place on the particular search that they're doing. And if they really want to do a search based on cost, they can filter that too as well.
Yeah, because I
Um,
was thinking about it as like, would we be able to charge that rate? I see the numbers that we just went through. Would we be able to charge that rate for the whole 30 days? Because I know the way we use price labs is going to be various different prices for the weekend, for the weekdays. So it might be lower than 300 some days. Then it might be on the weekends, might be three something. Then it might be two something. Then again, you might have to drop your prices down too if you don't get to that 7 days of. So yeah, it could be
so,
like that.
so here, let me see. Here's what I would expect. I would expect most of these folks who are been at in this particular a year or more are probably using some sort of dynamic pricing.
Yeah, it
Just
gotta be. I believe that.
yeah, if it's less than a year, maybe they got the same rate year round, but it's not likely. It's
No,
not
no, I
likely.
don't think so neither.
Yeah,
So yeah, but
and it.
I do kind of see what you're saying. You'll be able to get into that profit overflow, as you say, quicker
Hmm.
with whole houses in the high season than rooms.
Right.
I should try that because I had got a room booking for like 2 nights and it was like $600 something for just two
Hmm.
nights. And
Hmm.
and another thing too that makes it is the guest count. So
Right.
you get some more money from the guests. So I was like, wow, but that is different. So I can see how that could possibly, yeah.
And there's some other perks about the whole house that I love that you really can't leverage with the rooms. For example, is the add-ons. So a typical add-on would be uh, early check-in or late check-out.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Um, and with the rooms, typically they're there really around an assignment.
Yeah,
So if their assignment ends, they're just going to renew. But you don't see a lot of late checkout, early check-in around assignments. And then the the other add-on, which is something that my wife is slowly kind of saying, okay, we'll try it, is the add-ons around pets. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, if you consider a search where guests want to bring their animal, right? So we searched this and we add the filter. Okay, so let me add that filter as well. So entire house again, put the bed counts back in there, put the bath counts back in there, and add that aspect about pets. That's 529 spots. One pet. And we're okay. So just adding that one feature of pets, we reduced the competition by over 200 homes. Less competition, the more people can find you. I guess
Mhm.
that's what I'm saying. And people are willing to pay to have that fur baby. Sometimes a
Yeah.
premium.
Yeah.
Sometimes a premium. So it does make a lot of sense if you're trying to, work within that 3 month, 4 month window of your high season to try to get the highest possible bang for your buck, and then go back into the slow and steady money that we can expect from the room rentals.
So utilizing both of them. Okay.
So absolutely, this is a hybrid model. This is not like all of one or all of the other, because we do have the reality of having seasonality around our business. Now, if you're in a place like, I don't know, Atlanta or Houston, where you don't really have a defined high or defined low season, then it's a little different. It's a little different. Most people who are living in the Northeast, we are dealing with that reality.
Yeah, all seasons.
Clearly defined season.
Yep, yep. I see, I see.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're doing right now, you're doing only whole house right now because your high season is coming up at the end of April.
So yeah, I'm positioning myself where I'm reserving one house that I'm using as a overflow if I have a room request.
Okay.
And all the other houses are whole houses.
Okay.
Now the way I'm doing my calendar, and I'll share this with you as well. Share my calendar. Because I just worked this out in my head. Wasn't sure how I was going to do it, but I finally worked it out in my head what makes the most sense. So hang on. All right, this. All right, let me go on as a host. Calendar. Okay. So here we go. So I have this property. Okay. So Roxborough. Okay. So Roxborough, I just told you, I just had a whole house booking, and we'll have another whole house booking end of the week. So, but I have rooms. So most whole house bookings, oddly enough, take place between Thursday and Monday. Between Thursday and Monday. Most whole house bookings. I still got these doggone rooms, right? So I asked my wife, what if I turn the rooms back on between Mondays and Wednesday? What if? And I positioned myself where I took off instant booking and only put it as like a request. So I could actually generate leads at one property and push them to my one property I'm making free and making available. So that's exactly the route I'm doing. So you'll see that my rooms, the room 2, room 4, room 1, room 5, they're open between Monday and Wednesday. And then they close. And then Monday and Wednesday, I'm gonna open them back up. In this case, I didn't do it because I talked about it, but I didn't finalize it in my brain. So now it's open again. It closes on Thursday and open it up again Monday through Wednesday. So I can't tell you that I've generated any tangible data from this yet, but intuitively, it makes sense to me. Does it make sense to you, Cornell?
Yeah, I see it. Use that as a generated lead to lead people to the rooms. But
Mm-hmm.
and the rest of the properties you have open as entire homes.
Right.
Okay.
So I
I
have
see
one
that.
property that
I
I'm
see
not.
that for your entire home, you have your prices scattered out, dynamic pricing. I see like 164, 168, 203 is scattered out like that. So
Mhm.
have you been getting a whole lot of entire home bookings so far?
Well,
Um,
remember this, our season really just started April 1.
start. Yeah.
And so as of April 1, I have 3 houses booked. And we're what? We're 9 days in. So, I'm not saying I got it all figured out. I'm just saying I like how it feels. I like
Yeah.
the feeling. The feeling is good. So,
No.
and you're right. I got one house at 141 a night, 131 a night,
Mm-hmm.
134 a night, 188 a night, 168, and
Yes.
400. So they're all over the place.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna experiment with that too with one of my places at entire house and leave it open for high season and see
Mhm.
because that could be, yeah, that's different. Especially, yeah, that could be different.
It could either be an amazing surprise, or it could be a total failure with the me doing the room thing. But I'll tell you what, um, I won't know until I figure it out, until I try it.
Mm-hmm.
I will not know until I try it. So, all right, brother. So listen, man, you actually the first to know. Our normal scheduled call on Thursday is going to be preempted because it's Yvonne's birthday tomorrow.
Okay. Cool.
So, happy birthday to my wife in advance. So
Happy birthday.
the plan is that we're going to go wait this evening, find rent an Airbnb, and my wife she don't have a problem, y'all, but she does fancy herself, good with the crap table. So so we gonna hang out at the casino tomorrow for her birthday. So that being said,
That's
yeah,
fun.
yeah, our weekly call is gonna be preempted.
Okay.
But anything else, Cornell, that maybe our listening viewers who may kind of be unfamiliar with some of the terminology and some of the, what advice would you have for our listeners that kind of want to maybe play with this concept of short-term rentals?
I would say is they should definitely try it out. It's definitely something good, definitely a good skill set to have. If you want to get into the real estate game, get into that. It's easy way to get into it, and it's a simple business model that can be effective. That can help you, quickly create cash flow with, like we were saying, the tire house or the private rooms. So that's what I would say. Definitely get into it. It's definitely something that you like, especially if you like hospitality. That's what we're doing and providing the hospitality experience for our guests. So that's what I would say. Hop into it. It's like to get into real estate. It's like a good way to begin into real estate.
Yeah.
Um, and I
Yeah.
was going to ask you too, Earl. Also, how did you? I don't know if you have you done your taxes for your actual places or you got your
Yeah.
accountant. How
Yeah.
do you actually handle that?
So my accountant is doing it two ways. So the one place that we own outright, he's actually treating it as a traditional rental because there's more of
Oh,
a tax benefit of it when you have a
okay.
Schedule C. And then the other properties, he's treating it as business income. There's really no depreciation there. But everything that um, we basically, log, the expenses to the cleaners, the expenses to paper supplies, and so you have your profit and your expense. My account is really giving me the maximum opportunities of not declaring the full amount so that I can generate. I'm a business. This
Exactly.
business people, the tax code is designed for business people. If
Yes,
you're
it
a
is.
business person and let's say this, if you don't have a business, you're going to pay at least 30% or more.
Mm-hmm.
Bottom line. If you're a business and you're doing business the right way and you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's with your accounting, your tax liability can drop significantly. I don't want to give you false numbers, but I, I'm trying to do 15%. I don't want to pay any more 15%.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So when it comes to your taxes, you just take your 1099 and just hand it to your accountant, or how do you actually handle that? They do your bookkeeping for you, and do you
Yeah,
yeah.
the latter.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, I was
Well,
interested in that though too, actually, because I know like you profit a certain amount every month. Do you set any money to the side, or you just let your accountant handle all of that at the end of the year?
so my accountant actually wants me to start paying it on a quarterly basis. That is a real conversation. And I use a you ever hear something called Rocket Money?
No, I never heard of that.
So Rocket Money will actually track all of your expenses, and it's really good. So you could actually set it up. So based on these, say you have 10 accounts, these 5 accounts are business related. So it will actually track all the in and out, and it'll generate a spreadsheet. And I push that spreadsheet over to my account. And then
Oh, okay, okay.
he puts it into his software.
Oh, okay. Oh, that might sound good. Okay, so it tracks actually what you spend and what's coming in and out, and it creates a spreadsheet automatically.
Right. Yes.
That's
So
that's
what
that's good stuff.
so I so I'm really not doing anything, manually. I'm just pushing spreadsheets to my accountant. And
Okay. That's what I was wondering. I'm like, are you setting any money aside every month or anything? Because that would seem difficult. So you're just letting Rocket, you're just letting this software do it for you, and then like it can handle the rest.
yeah, so
Yeah.
so my accountant will give me the recommendations, and I'm just giving my accountant the hard the rocket money. Okay.
I need to,
Yeah.
okay, Rocket Money. I need to start using that. Because if it
Yeah,
can,
yeah,
especially for
yeah.
you, you give it, I'm thinking you got to take money out manually every month. And, because sometimes, just like you were saying,
Rocket money.
you generate some profits in a month, you put that into straight into another profit. I
Yep.
know you do that, but it's just when it comes to the end of the year, I'm kind of having like I'm trying to figure out how to give everything to my accountant in a neat and cleaned up way, so where everything's simplified and they know exactly, because there's so many benefits to having a business, so many write-offs, deductions.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to do that in a clean up way. But I want to know how to use Rocket Money. That's interesting. I could use
Yeah.
that in 2025.
It's exciting, man. I wasn't gonna put all my business out there, but yeah, yeah, definitely do the Rocket Money. It's an annual membership, but for the $300 or $400 you're using, for them to track it all and the recommendations that they can give you, it's absolutely well worth it.
Okay.
It's well worth it. And it'll break it down by categories. Like,
Oh, really?
yeah, like hold on, let me just share this real quick.
So what do you link your bank accounts to Rocket Money? How do they track?
Exactly.
I need to start doing that.
Yeah.
I need to start doing that.
Yeah. So it'll break out for me like total spent for the month, 7,000. And how much went to groceries? Bam. How money went to a loan payment? Bam. How many went to dining out? Bam. Bills? Bam. Travel vacation? Bam. So, and fees, you always want to have your fees. You want to track that so you know when you're overspending. And by the
Mhm.
way, if you're spending more than 30% of your credit line for your credit card, address that because they're
Mhm.
killing you with the fees.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, this is a good tool to use. A very
Okay,
good.
okay. So you got your personal account connected to it in your business account?
Yep.
Okay, okay. Is it that simple, really just linking your business account and that's it? Will it start tracking from day one or
Yeah.
would it track back stuff that you didn't have either?
Yeah, it'll go backwards.
Hmm.
It'll go
That's
backwards.
interesting. So is
But
it
I
one
mean,
payment upfront and for annually or is it monthly?
um, I think you have options. I did the annual myself
Okay.
just to because it was recommended highly, and then what? Here's the other feature about the software. It'll track subscriptions, and those subscriptions that you don't even use anymore, and you just pay auto pay, they can add up to hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. So
Mm-hmm.
it gives you a way to cancel subscriptions.
Okay, okay.
Automatic, yeah. So that in and of itself is how I got interested, and then on the back end, I started integrating everything with the account.
Yeah, because that's a neat way to keep up with everything that you spend, especially for your business. So, like you were saying, software, a pricing software, your cleaners, everything
Yep.
you sell, just everything organized. Yeah, I gotta test that out because I definitely want to be neater and cleaner, for this year and anyway for 2025. And
Yep.
we're rating Q2 2025.
We in
So
Q2, baby.
Q2. So it's like. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely check that out because I need something like that to make my accounting job easier. Boom, and like you were saying, you drop gems and you said so many deductions, so many benefits for having a business. This system is set up for businesses, not for the individual. All these write-offs. I don't even know if you ever heard about you can get deductions for the business when you come to your mileage too. I
Right.
use something called Mile IQ, where it tracks your every mile so where you go. So when you're going back and forth to your places and everything like that, it tracks all of that. That's yeah,
Yeah, that's smart. That's real smart.
so it's a lot. Well,
Real
it
smart.
makes sense, man. It's crazy how the system is made like that. I don't
Mhm.
know why it's made like that because the 1% was made for businesses like pretty much to have that edge.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, so before I rock out, man, I'm gonna our group text, our group thread. I'm gonna throw in there the link from my last Black Wall Street meeting. But I'll give you a tease of it. Let me find it real quick, and then we'll call it a wrap. Let me find it. I'm really encouraged by the young people who are coming out and who are interested in business, who are interested in entrepreneurship. Okay, let me share this. All right, so I had this gentleman uh come out. He drove about hour and change. He ended up staying at one of our places, and the evening was broken up into three segments. Evening one, he shared his journey. investing in crypto, investing in the stock market, and understanding how to, the life of an entrepreneur has is curves and his roads, and so he spoke on that. And then segment two, we had a book a book club. Last month's book was Grant Cardone's 10X. That's what we talked about, premises of the book. And then segment three was we spent the last 2 hours helping the kids hands-on experience with investments by using the game cash flow. And great experience, man. But I'm going to show you some of the first clip. I'm going to show you some of the first clip.
What?
All right. All right, good people. All right, we're going to get started with our guest speaker, and then we're going to shift gears to talk a little bit about our book for the month, 10X with Grant Cardone. This gentleman, Brother Reed, was on our podcast not that long ago, and he did some amazing things. This man is a teacher of wealth. I like to call a modern day Moses. He's a stock market strategist with the heart of a servant, financial literacy warrior, and he's all about the breaking generational curses through financial education. So I'm gonna see if I can find some of the young people's questions, because I thought the questions were amazing. Hang on.
Yeah, you just call me the one.
All right. How do I pronounce your name?
But my name is Khalid though.
Khalid. Okay, I was reading your.
Yeah, it's a. I forgot it was already. I forgot I was up there.
All right, no problem, brother. No problem at all.
Yeah, but Khalid or the worm, either one works.
All right. Well, Khalid, you talk. Why don't you begin, man? What are some questions that are on your spirit?
I really don't have too I can't really say I have too many questions. You did say that you started stocks. You said in 1989, and when you started those stocks, I do want to know, were you looking at charts, or were you looking at stocks? Were you looking at the prices of the stocks themselves and investing and then pulling out at certain times and reinvesting inside more stocks?
All right, man. So at some point, Cornell, man, I want you to be one of my guest speakers so you can call in and field some questions from my young hearts and young minds. Would you be willing to do that?
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Hey, man, each one, teach one, reach one, man. Cooperative economics, man. That's where this is really all about. Every time we talk about, just don't have blessings come to you, but have blessings come through you. That's really the focus right there.
Yep, definitely is.
Okay. All right, brother. If you could wrap us up, Cornell, and a prayer. We didn't pray the last time we came together, man. That would be a wonderful thing.
Yep. Okay. Let's bow our heads. Lord Jesus, we come to you this evening to give you all the praise and thank you for blessing us in every way, blessing us through our business, our health, our wealth, and just having us be in position to do more for ourselves and our family and our loved ones, to use each one as teach one with knowledge and just spread positivity amongst each other, Lord. And I just pray that you protect everybody that's watching this call and everybody on this call inside and out, and just keep us wealthy and healthy inside and out, and just help us reach our full potential in this world, so we can live the best we can, and just reach our full potential, so we can live the full life that we're looking for. I just pray also for just us creating more business relationships in general, to get further in life, to get to that next level and level up, to be the person that can be able to help everybody else out close to us to be able to grow and just stay positive and make a difference in this world. And the year 2025 and year so and forward and the next year, so forth, so forth. Lord Jesus, I just pray for anything else that we're forgetting to pray on this call. And I just pray that you can be with us every step of the way on our improvement journey and help us get to the next level and just be the best version of ourselves. Pray this in Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. Thanks so much, my brother. And we're going to sign off right now. Everybody, listen, as we say in times past, we want you to be blessed, but more important, we want you to be a blessing. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.